Okay, well, hello. This is Jim Berrigan, and today I want to spend some time with you going over the potential purchase of the property located across Kellogg from camp. The first screen I would like to start with is a quotation from Brian Kepis. Many of you may know Brian. He is a former past president of Tamarack Camps. He is someone that we at Our Lady of the Fields have relied on in advice in growing our camp. He has seen a lot of growth at Tamarack. And this is something that he said to me and to Mike Hickey on the phone when we spoke with him. He really stressed the importance of thinking long term. As you can see, he says, try to think for 100 years into the future. And I want to keep this sentiment in mind while we're talking about the possible purchase of this property, which has become available right across the street from Our Lady of the Fields. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is an actual listing from Thomas Duke Realtors. Now, this is the property that we're talking about. If you look at this picture here on the top of the website, you can see to the right side, Euler Lake. That is, of course, our camp. And then just diagonally below the lake to the left, you can see our St. George's Shrine. You can see the circular driveway. And right across Kellogg, that is the property in question. Now, this is only a partial picture, but I want to talk about how this property has been divided. You can see just from this picture that there is a notch that's been taken out of the upper right corner. Now, that notch does also belong to the owners of this property, the Johnson family. However, they have separated the large portion of their property from the smaller portion. The larger portion, which is highlighted in yellow, is 48 acres approximately. And then that notch is approximately 6 acres. And this listing only talks about the large parcel. We'll come back and talk about the smaller parcel in a moment. But here is the listing for the 48 acres. And again, we'll look at a closer map, but you can see that this property actually encompasses 3 parcels. So there's this notch, there's this long stretch, which is about 7 acres, and this long stretch, which is about 7 acres. This is all for sale by the Johnson family. Okay, so the price, the asking price for this is $635,000. Right now, it is licensed as residential low density. All right, so if we were to use it, one of the questions would be, would that automatically become under our zoning, which is zoned recreational, or would we have to apply for a variance? Which, yes, I'm swallowing hard. So that is this piece of the property here. The separate piece, the 6 acres, is actually going to be listed, if it actually does get listed, with a different realtor. So we're only talking about this section here with these 2 long strips. Now, we do have a survey that was recently done by the Johnson family. And here is that survey. So this road, this right here, this line is Kellogg, South Kellogg, and right over here would be Camp, Our Lady of the Fields. Our driveway into the church side of Camp is exactly right here. I know that because their driveway is directly opposite ours, and their driveway comes in and it curves around and it comes to this structure, and I will increase the size of my screen here So you can see this gray picture here, this little gray outline is a house. And we've taken quite a few pictures of this house. It's over 2,000 square feet, and we do have information about that. And then most of this behind is just wooded. It's just a wooded lot with a house. They separated this out. There are no boundaries, there are no fences along either property line. And here we are into the big property. The entrance right now to this larger property is a driveway right here. And as you drive in, it's a kind of a rough dirt road. It comes in and the road curves around and comes up here. And this is sort of a main area of camp. This rectangle of this piece of property is a barn. It has 8 stalls for horses. Looks like in pretty good condition. We would need to do further investigation, but it definitely looks usable for horses. Over here is just a small hay barn. This is a 2-bedroom house, ranch style, very small. Right now, a caretaker is living in that property. We were not able to go inside and see it. It doesn't look to be in great condition, but it is livable, and could be updated if we needed to. This area also has different pens, and there are sheep and goats up here. There's a pasture here where horses can graze right up here. And then once you're at this barn, if you want to leave, you can drive on a road that curves back this way. And you'll see that these 2 squares here, this is another house and a detached garage. Now, this house is in really rough condition. We don't know if it's salvageable or not. It's possible with a work crew we could clean this up and make it into something. The Johnsons are saying that perhaps it needs to be torn down. We haven't investigated it yet. So the road continues on, and you'll be able to see this in another picture I show you soon, but there is a horse track that is actually about 3/4 of a mile in length that goes around in an oval shape like this. Now that track used to be able to ride 5 horses wide at one time around this track. Beautiful dirt track surrounded by trees. Now that track has kind of grown over, and we have grass and bushes that are on the track, but those could be relatively easily cleared and we could get that track back. In the middle of the track, the infield, we have these 2 buildings, which are hay barns. And that's the way. Otherwise, it's just undeveloped. And then these 2 long pieces here are just wooded. Right now, we don't know if there are any trails. We haven't walked back there, but according to the Johnsons, it's just forested. And then the property on this side is owned by another individual.